Hi, everybody. I've had such a weird day today. I posted about this on Twitter this morning, but last night, right after I finished my vlog, like almost immediately after, I edited it and I uploaded it, and I did some laundry. I put a load of laundry in the dryer, and while I was waiting for the vlog to upload and the dryer was finishing, I was like, yeah, all right. I've got the rest of the evening. I can work on some writing. I've got some stuff I can do. I can prep for the week. And my video finished uploading, and the buzzer on my laundry went, and I went and grabbed everything out of the dryer, and I was cleaning all of my like sheets and my comforter and everything. And so it was a big laundry thing. I was like not really looking forward to putting it all away. And I don't know about you, but I have a few chores, little things that I have in my life that I just fucking hate. Totally unreasonably. So like one of them is putting the cover back on my stupid duvet. I hate it. It's a tiny task. It takes no time, but I can't stand doing it. Taking out my recycling. I have boxes that I need to break down and just put in the recycling bin. It's so easy. I hate doing it. Totally unreasonable. Other jobs, I really don't mind cleaning the bathroom, sweeping the floor. I love doing dishes. Like manually cleaning dishes, I love it. But these things I hate. And so instead of putting all my laundry away right away, I just sort of dumped it on my bed and I sat down and I was like, okay, I'm going to take a look at some photos that I shot over the weekend, and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to go to bed. And I looked at my clock and I was like, it's 8 o'clock. It's 8 p.m. And I put my laptop away. And the next thing I knew, I was lying under the covers, under this big pile of like laundry that I guess I had just pulled on top of myself. And it was 6 a.m. All that time had passed. And I remember looking at the clock and seeing 6 and being like, that doesn't make sense. It was just 8 o'clock. I just fell asleep in my clothes and didn't even notice. My light was still on and I just zonked out. And I've been feeling fine. I'm healthy. I'm not like, I don't feel sick. It wasn't that. And I don't feel particularly tired. I think it's just my brain was like, guess what? Fucker, you're going to sleep. And so then I was just out. And it felt like I had just had a weird nap. And so the whole rest of my day, it's been surreal. Like it got light out and I was like, what's happening? It's only 10 p.m. And it was a weird nap that backfired on me. And as a result, I had kind of just a strange chronologically, I felt disjointed. I felt like a traveler out of time, and it was very surreal. So that kind of threw me off today, and I've been processing some kind of hard stuff. I mentioned a little bit in the vlog yesterday. I got kind of a lot going on, and not just in like a being busy sense, but like emotionally, I'm kind of like going through some stuff these days, and so it takes a lot off the top, right? I don't know if you're familiar with like Spoon's theory, but the idea is that you wake up in the morning with a certain amount of energy, a certain amount of tools with which to do the job of being a person. And every time you do a job, you use one of those tools and it goes away. And the idea is that by the end of the day, you should still have some spoons, in this case, left over. But then the theory is really more about having a disability, right? Having chronic pain, having to deal with that stuff. But it can be applied in a bunch of ways. But the idea is that if you have something like that, if you have a mental health issue, if you have a chronic disability, you start the day with fewer spoons than life is engineered to have, right? If having a job and maintaining relationships and feeding yourself and being a functional person requires X amount of spoons, if you have chronic pain, for example, you might have X minus 10 amount of spoons. So you're always underfunded in the amount of tools you have to get through the day. And so I'm feeling a little low. I'm still like okay on my stuff. I'm getting things done. I'm still being a very productive, relatively healthy individual. But so I was tired this morning, and I kind of let that drag me down a little bit today. But a couple of things happened that made me really happy. One of which was that I have friends that love and care about me. Go figure. One of them, Blue Jay, brilliant sweetheart that she is, she tweeted, "Hey, Adam is having kind of a rough time," which normally I'd be like so embarrassed by, because I don't know, public shows of vulnerability are a counter-masculine thing, and I've been socialized in a particular way to not like them. But she was like, so I'm going to say something nice about Adam. If you have something nice to say about Adam, come on in, jump in on the thread. And then at the end of this just like heartbreakingly sweet thread of all of these amazing people, strangers and friends and peers, and like everybody just saying all this nice shit to me all day. Thanks, internet. Sometimes you're nice. After that, she collected all of them onto a website that collects tweets and was like, here you go. Now you can look at it whenever you want. So that was really nice. And it's just like, it's cool to be surprised in a positive way every once in a while. Hang on. I'm going to turn my heater off. The noise is going to bother me. 1 second. Yeah, so that was wonderful. That was a fantastic thing to have happen. It really helped with my mood. You never know, you never know when just like saying something nice to a person about the things they make or who they are or something they've done or like a memory you have of them. You never know when that kind of shit is going to completely flip somebody's day around. I've had it happen to me so many times where I've just been like down in the dumps and somebody's reached out, or I've got a nice email from somebody saying like, really good show today. That was really funny. I know you don't know me, but like, I love your NPCs. Or I try to do that more. I think that's something that I because I value and I love it so much, I try to do it. I'm not great at it yet, but it's a habit I want to get into, of like commenting more, engaging more with people and the things they make and the things that they do. When somebody says something smart on the internet, instead of just being like button, I'm trying to do a better job engaging, of saying like, hey, that was really smart. And it's nice to have that opportunity to have it go both ways. It's really nice to hear all of that positive feedback on a day I particularly needed it. The other thing that I got to do today that it made me feel better about being a person that is alive was I got to play Dungeons and Dragons with Elf and Blue Jay and Lauren and Dave. We've been playing on the D&D channel in some form or another for years now. And we've been playing together as a group for even longer than that. And there's a certain kind of like familiarity or camaraderie that I think that you get from playing role-playing games with the same group over time. Excuse me. I think that that's a big value in playing role-playing games. And like, you get to know people and the way that they play, and like, that group, maybe more than any other one, they're not the people that I've necessarily played with the longest or played with the most, but there's some special chemistry there that I feel really good about. It's really nice. Those games never stress me out. Even when we get into like kind of tense arguments, like there have been moments where like we're debating something. We're arguing about a rule or debating character behavior or something in that campaign, in the Roll20 Presents campaign, where I can feel... Zeke described it. Zeke said it happened to him during the live show Cortosaurus. He says, for him, it's like a sense of heat on his neck. He can feel the back of his head and his neck like heat up when he's like, ooh, you're wrong, and I'm getting fired up about how wrong you're being and I want to fix it. I feel that same way, but it's less like we're arguing about a rule and you're wrong and I'm right. It's more like I can feel that it's not good watching, that there are going to be people who are going to turn it off because of this. They're going to be like, uh-oh, there's tension. Adam and Elf are arguing about something. I can't watch this anymore. And so the professional part of me is like, smooth it over, get past it. But the role-playing gamer part of me is like, no. This is good. This is content that is important to show people, because I think you have those arguments with your home group, right? Like everybody who's ever played role-playing games with the same amount of people, the same people over any amount of time, you're going to have those sessions where like, we had the argument about how quicksand works, or we debated whether or not you could do this certain action, and we got into a heated argument about it. And I think that's a thing that whether you play video games or you play role-playing games or you play board games, there are those moments where you butt heads with the people you play with. And I don't think they're bad. You know, like I don't think that they're negative. I think that I can think of quite a few times where like Jeff would really get my fucking hackles up. Jeff would say shit and be like, "But Adam, you said," and I'm like, "Oh, Jeff, you son of a gun," like. But we'd always come out the other end like laughing and smiling, and you earn that through getting to know people and through working with them and building that sense of community and camaraderie in that little group. I think of role-playing groups almost like my kind of replacement families, in the sense that there's almost nothing I can think of that you do with people that is more intimate than creating, right? Than getting together, being vulnerable, putting out your creative ideas and feelings, and then waiting and seeing what other people think and feel about them, right? That feeling for me works the same with chat as well. When I introduce a new character, or I put a spin on a narrative, or a cliffhanger or something, I'm always so interested in seeing not just how the players respond, but how you respond in chat. I'm always watching for that. And there'll be certain episodes of shows where I'll go back and I'll read all the YouTube comments and I'll comment on the video, because there's a moment that I really want to know what people thought. I crave that response, and I think it's made me a better GM. You know, people come to me a lot and say, you know, how I want to GM, I want to GM better. What do I do? How do I do that? You know, what have you done to learn that skill? And I think I underestimate how valuable having that immediate and sometimes like kind of critical, okay, a lot of the time critical feedback from my audience has helped me improve. Like I post on Twitter, you know, when people leave weird, shitty YouTube comments, and I'm like, look at this asshole. He's got his head on backwards. He doesn't know anything. He's saying something really stupid. But there's a lot of like really legitimate critique and a lot of really like legitimate thought that people put into, and critique I can tell comes from a place of love. We dealt with an issue in Court of Swords that I think I hadn't really realized was a bit like triggering for me personally, and I know was difficult for some of the audience. It revolved around a character and like their sexual agency being taken from them briefly, and we did that thing during the episode where we kind of joked about it, and like it was a lot of like tense laughter. And at the time, I didn't realize the impact, but we talked about it during the post-show, and we talked about it in subsequent episodes, and we've had an opportunity now to go back and kind of relax that nervous energy and like treat the thing with a little bit more seriousness. And for me, part of the process of doing a better job was the people that emailed me to say like, hey, Adam, so I noticed this issue came up and you were all kind of laughing about it. Maybe you hadn't thought about the deeper impact. And I think I had, but not in the way that they had brought up. So that kind of stuff is so valuable to me. And I think that you, with other players, you develop that vulnerability and that sense in the same way that I have with chat. I feel a lot more comfortable throwing out weird ideas or making jokes that I'm not sure will land. I feel like I'm more comfortable in that space, and so it allows me to be a little bit more experimental. So I got to do that today. I got to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I also got to have a nice conversation with Zeke about some character stuff for Court of Swords. So they were conversations and games and like things that happened in my day that revolved a lot more around the people that I do things with than the things themselves. And I think that, given kind of what I was talking about in yesterday's vlog, I think that's something that I maybe undervalue. So maybe in the year 2020, I'm going to start thinking about ways that community impacts me directly, right? Who are my community? Right? I have the math squad, I have my fans, I have the people that follow me on Twitter, and those are all super valuable to me as communities, and I feel like we help each other and provide support for one another, and I think those things are really good. But to a degree, I'm at a bit of a remove from them by necessity, right? And so I think in this last year, I've really felt the absence of like a closer community. So I'm gonna try to reach out more. I'm gonna try to like talk more with the people that I feel close to, and just maybe in general about like my feelings and the things that I need. Because, you know, while today it was really nice to be surprised by Zeke's insight or Blue Jay's kindness or Dave's subtle sense of humor, I needed all of those things today, and I didn't realize I needed them. And I think even if I had realized, it would have been really hard for me to ask. So I'm going to try and do a better job of that. I think that's a worthwhile goal. Even though, you know, New Year's resolutions are kind of BS. It's a good excuse to try doing something different. What about you? Do you do New Year's resolutions? Do you think about, like, in the next year, I'm going to do this thing? Have you ever accomplished one? I don't think I've ever really had any New Year's resolutions, so I couldn't succeed or fail at them. But it'd be really cool to see if other people have been like, by this time next year, I will be a god. I mean, if you're a god now, then you probably have better things to do than watch my YouTube videos. But if you are a god and you're watching this YouTube video and you need yourself a warlock, hi, my name's Adam Coble, and I love demonic entities. Just saying. Alright. I've still got some things I gotta do, like edit this vlog, so I'm gonna go do those. It was nice talking to you. I'll talk to you tomorrow.